Hey everyone, Micah here with EbikeSchool.com, and today we're going to talk about fat tires. Now, fat tires are great for e-bikes. They're perfect for traveling over loose terrain, whether that's sand, snow, dirt, grass, or even actually on the street, which we're going to talk about. But fat tires are a completely different animal to standard mountain bike or street tires like you'll find on most e-bikes. And so we're going to talk about 5 secrets to fat tires, or things that I've learned over the years that just aren't covered as much. And by the way, before I go too far, I just want to let you know that someone watching this video right now is going to win this e-bike. This is the Ebike Ranger S, a folding fat tire e-bike. If you want to figure out how that could be you, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. All right, now let's talk about those 5 tips. First, we're going to cover tire pressure. Now, some people know, when you go off-road, you do lower tire pressure. When you go on-road, you go higher pressure. But what is the correct pressure? Well, it really depends on the type of tires, the type of terrain you're riding, and the weight of the rider. Basically, you can go a lot lower in fat tires than you probably think you can. On typical e-bike tires, I'm usually staying around 35 to 40 psi. But in fat bike tires, if I'm on really loose stuff like loose snow or loose sand, you can drop that down to 2, 3, 4, 5 psi. If you're in a bit harder stuff, dirt, but it's a little more hard pack or really hard pack snow, you might go up 7, 8 psi. And when you're back on the road, because fat tires actually work great on road and they give you some nice suspension, when you get back on that asphalt, you want to pump those tires back up. I usually keep mine somewhere between 10 to 15, sometimes up to 20 psi. The problem with having your tires too low when you're back on the road is that you're going to feel really washy in the corners. When you go to take those turns, you're going to feel the tire kind of pushing out to the side. You're going to have to push a lot harder. You'll feel like you don't have enough strength in your arms because for some reason the bike is fighting you. That's because you don't have enough pressure in the tires. However, when you're off-roading and you have too much pressure, the opposite is true. The tires don't have enough squish. They're not molding to the terrain, and so you're not getting the same type of handling that you should as if you dropped that pressure down. So don't be afraid to go too low. You could drop it down to 4 or 5 psi without a problem on most loose terrains, and sometimes you might even go lower than that. Now, if you're a really heavy rider, you might keep a little higher PSI in there just to make sure you're not squishing those tires all the way down and potentially getting pinch flats. But generally speaking, you can go lower than you think you need to. Next, let's talk about battery life. With fat tires, you're going to be using a lot more battery than you would have on a normal mountain bike or street tire. The reason for that is just that they use a lot more energy. There's a lot of rolling resistance in these fat tires, and so you're going to need more battery to make up for that, either with a larger battery pack or by carrying a spare battery with you. Keep that in mind because some people can get out ahead of themselves. They go farther than they actually should, thinking they've got enough battery to make it, and they don't realize that those fat tires are going to burn through your battery quicker. Tip 3, not all fat tires are the same. In fact, if you look at the different diameters, you'll find somewhere between 3 to about 4.5 inches. And 1.5 inches might not sound like much, but trust me, it makes a big difference. When you're doing serious off-roading, I'm talking about that really loose stuff, those extra wide 4.5-inch tires can be really nice. However, the problem with those extra wide tires is they really cut into your handling. I actually prefer a 3-inch tire, which is something between a fat tire and a balloon tire, really. If you look at bikes like the Electric XP 3.0, it's got that 3-inch tire, and to me that strikes a really nice balance between having that extra cushion, that extra rubber on the road, but also having enough air to make sure you're getting the benefits of a fat tire. Now, those 3-inch tires are better for on-road, and I do most of my riding on-road, so that's why I like those. But if you're really an off-roader, especially if you do a lot of overlanding, you're probably going to want 4-inch tires or perhaps even 4.5-inch tires. Fourth tip, let's talk diameter. Now, when you're looking at a fat tire e-bike, the difference between, say, a 20-inch tire like this one and a 26-inch tire or larger is a big deal. Not only is a 26-inch tire or larger going to make the bike physically bigger, because you need a much bigger frame to support that, but those wheels are going to be significantly heavier. Also, when you go to turn, you've got a lot more weight away from that axis in the middle where the bike's turning, or where the wheel rather is turning, around the center of that fork. What that means is your turning is going to be slower, it's going to be more sluggish. And when I go back and forth between a 20-inch tire like this and a big 26 or 27.5-inch fat tire, I really feel the difference. You can feel the different nimble ride of a 20-inch tire versus a little bit slower to turn on a bigger 26 or larger diameter tire. That's why for me, 20-inch fat tires like this one are really the sweet spot for me. They give me that extra cushion while not being too massive. And lastly, the 5th tip, and this might be a little different than what you're expecting, but make sure you're prepared when you're going off-road with a fat tire e-bike. A lot of people push out further and they go to different places than they would have explored originally because these fat tires allow them to go over all sorts of terrain. You can go farther down the trail and you can go where the trail ends, literally blazing your own path. The problem is sometimes people get into trouble that way. Either they get lost, they don't know where they're going, or they go too far overlanding and they run out of battery and they're stuck out there. So there are 3 things I always bring with me when I'm doing serious off-roading trips on a fat tire e-bike. First is a cell phone, next is water, and lastly is a knife or multi-tool. With a cell phone, I am always in connection. If I need help, I can call for help. I always bring a few liters of water because on a few liters of water you can sustain yourself for at least a day or 2 depending on conditions. And lastly, I always bring some type of knife or multi-tool just in case I need to do repairs, or if worst case scenario, you need protection from unfriendly animals or unfriendly bipeds. You never know what you're going to encounter out there, so it is best to always be prepared. One other thing that people often recommend is just slipping a $20 bill in somewhere in your survival kit or in your readiness kit, because the last thing you want is to pop out on the side of the road, find yourself a little restaurant, corner store, bodega, whatever, and not have money to get yourself a drink or something to eat. So there we go. Those are my 5 secrets to riding with fat tires. I hope you guys found that helpful. Just like in the beginning of the video where I mentioned it, I'm giving away this e-bike, the Ebike Ranger S. This is an awesome e-bike. It's got those 20-inch fat tires, which I love. It's got a 48-volt system, a powerful motor. It's got these mag wheels, which are really nice. You don't have to worry about spokes, hydraulic brakes, the works. I mean, this thing is an awesome bike if you want to have those off-road adventures, but you still want something that you can ride on the road and commute with because it's got that nimble ride, it's got that nice suspension, and it feels great whether you're on the road or on the trail. Now, this giveaway is part of Ebikes For Good, a program I started to help people who can't afford an e-bike, but who an e-bike would really make a big difference in their lives. Past winners have been people who needed an e-bike to get to work after getting laid off and they need a new job, but they can't afford a bike. People who have been hit by health issues and they're trying to get back into fitness, trying to get back into a healthy lifestyle, but they can't afford an e-bike, that sort of thing. If you have some hardship in your life and an e-bike would help you, but it is just outside of your reach, I want you to go to EbikeSchool.com/ebikesforgood. The address is down here below. Let me know your story, enter the form there, and hopefully you will be the winner of the Ebike Ranger S, which I will announce the winner at the end of my next video. So head on over, EbikeSchool.com/ebikesforgood. Let me know your story, and hopefully we can get you this e-bike. Now to announce the winner of the bike giveaway from my last video, and the randomly selected entrant is Stephen F. So congratulations, I'm excited to get the bike out to you. Anybody else who thinks that an e-bike would really benefit their life but it's out of reach, head on over to the site, EbikeSchool.com/ebikesforgood, enter, and I hope that you will be the randomly selected winner of this bike at the end of my next video. Now, last but not least, it is time to announce the winner of the book giveaway from my last video, and the randomly selected commenter is DeBusray. So congratulations, just let me know which one of my books you'd like. You can choose from DIY Lithium Batteries, DIY Solar Power, the Ultimate Do-It-Yourself e-bike guide, or my latest book, The Electric Bike Manifesto. And anybody else who wants a chance to win one of my books for free, all you gotta do is put a comment down below this video. You can say anything you'd like, and hopefully you'll be the randomly selected commenter at the end of my next video. If you don't wanna wait that long to hopefully win a copy of one of my books, you can always find them on Amazon. All right, thanks for watching everybody. I'll see you here next time.